Hola. This story is it was inspired by a new friend that made via YouTube who may be doing a collaborative event with us to help boost our reach and just kind of have fun with each other. A friendly debate we're gonna have. As of right now, it's good to go. We got a green light on that, but we'll see what happens. People drop out all the time, but real quick to tell the story leading up to this right now happening now. Uh, I had someone over, a lady friend, and kind of made a mess of the place, my apartment, and I did this. What I'm telling this story now is an instance of how synchronicities can play out on a minuscule level. Like it's all cosmological and it corresponds with what we're dealing with quantum mechanics and such. It's just a smaller scale of how synchronicities can play out if you're on point, you're paying attention, you're fast enough to catch your cues. Synchronicities can happen in such a small space as even your own personal thought process, but they're happening all the time. If you're paying attention, you're going to see them happening all the time, and they might seem entirely coincidental, but that's what they are. That's what coincidence means. It's coinciding, but I made a mess of the place and I didn't really have time. I wasn't able to make time to clean it up and I was too lazy to do it when I did have time. I spent a lot of energy. So it's tough to keep up with that sort of thing when you don't really care so much about it. But it turned out that we're having a status party on the 13th in Little Italy. And I'm gonna need swim trunks for that, and I can't find them because they're buried somewhere in my room, so I have to search for them. That's one thing, and we're having the hopefully I'm going to set this collaborative YouTube event up for the 14th immediately following the Library Appreciation Day party that we're collaborating with the Eastman branch of the Cleveland Public Library for that the day after the status party. So it's going to be a little midweek marathon party going on, which the party on the 13th is a little more hardcore and really invite certain people can come. I mean, you're all invited for sure, but it's a real party, so it's definitely not for kids, I suppose you could say, but um, there'll be swimming. The library party is more people friendly, average people friendly, kid friendly, but that is one instance where I was required to get things in order, and then I kept receiving these messages, and I kept receiving friend requests and messages and shit from this flooring company that just kept coming back, sending me these things, even though I friended them, even though I accepted it. It's like they just kept sending me these messages, like we'll work on your foundation, we'll get your flooring covered and shit like that. And it's just a little poke. It's something that kept poking at me, and it's like, what? Why? I didn't get it at the time. The reason wasn't visible yet, but that was just kind of a reminder. And of course, they stopped immediately when I get this daily tarot card reading sent in the email from one of our tarot card readers. Sends me a daily tarot card reading, a 2 card draw, and the draw they sent me 2 days ago was told me to get the gist of it was told me to get my foundation in order, get my place clean and tidy and everything, coordinated properly and set up and ready, have a stable foundation because we're going to be expanding, which my life would be expanding and I'd be given bigger opportunities to move forward. And and of course that's happening with the YouTube events, and there's other people, but this one particular person, her name's Demi. She does the Anti-Ordinary channel I've told you guys about. What you should check it out. Like and subscribe. Be it. She's awesome. But um, that's a instance where we might be expanding, and I've got to get my foundation in order, get my place cleaned up to have everything set up and ready. Then I need the swim trunks, which is another poke at it. The flooring company is a poke at that. It kept poking at it, and then the tarot card reading told me that, and then immediately afterward, the day afterward, I got a job offer for a side gig as a cook, and which I don't really want to take, but it's money. It's extra money. So I figured that's my cue. That tells me, yes, I immediately need to get my shit in order and have everything prepped and ready because I can't even find half of the shit I need. And it's like, it's best to have everything prepared. So I started getting down to that. And when I did, I started finding a bunch of old pictures of Megan and I. And back when we were together. And, you know, I don't know if you can see those, but pictures of she and I together. And reminded me of that. It put all those memories fresh in my mind, and you know, get freshened my memory, refreshed my memory on that time and what happened then, and then directly then immediately after that, like I'm talking 10 minutes after I found those photos, my YouTube recommended a video to me from Anti Ordinary's channel, and this is an instance, the way that this all worked out, this is more of an instance of your intuitive faculties in play, because my brain is seeing things happening that I'm not aware of, and it's kind of piecing it together, and it's suggesting things to me, and it's pointing things out. And then, of course, the extended brain, the internet, and the the internet database is proposing things to me in that way, and that's just a measure by which synchronicity can happen on a smaller scale. And it all leads up to this point where it recommended that video, and I watched the video, and it was this girl Demi speaking to an instance in her past where she lost somebody she loved very dearly, and how that happened and why that happened, and it was very closely related to my own story, so it inspired me to tell this story, which telling the story is going to have an effect on other people, and it's going to alter things. And you might not see the reason immediately, but it's there. There's things are going to start happening because of this, and this is all coordinated in that way. It might seem entirely coincidental to people, but that's what it is. It's how it works. And it seems simple and basic, but watch this video have a big impact on a lot of people. Anyways, it certainly had an impact on me. It's not a story I really wanted to tell, although I knew I had to. But when Megan and I were together, we were married for a while, and we were every day we fell more deeply in love with each other. I love it. We were one of those couples that people used to get pissed off at us when they saw us on the street because we were so fucking happy and they couldn't figure out why, and we were just like lovey dovey, hanging all over each other, like cliche loving. And we never had any problems. Not never had a problem. Everything was perfect until I got hurt. I got my lung collapsed and I had the surgery, and they couldn't get the tube into my lung, and they fucked up my nerve system trying to. They did a lot of nerve damage, and that's another story. But uh, that's what happened, and I was hospitalized for a while. When I got out, that nerve damage had me in such pain that I was totally fucking crippled. Like it was so bad. The pain was making me want to kill myself on a daily basis bad, and there was nothing I could do about it. They wouldn't give me pain medication. I was getting pain medication off the street here and there where I could, but basically I had to start drinking to try and kill the pain. I became alcoholic after a while, but I could see where it was leading. I could see that this was going downhill, that this impulse was going to get worse and worse and cause more damage in my body and eventually make its way up to the brain where who the fuck knows what's going to happen then, you know, and work its way down to the groin also, which obviously in a romantic relationship that could be troublesome. But I could see it going downhill and I couldn't see any way out. I didn't understand it. I didn't know how to cure it or work with it. I didn't know how to overcome that pain. So I was just out of commission. There was nothing I could do. I lost all my work. I lost every I couldn't even write. I couldn't even please her, sexually. I couldn't. I was unable to do anything. I was just in pain and crippled, and I didn't want to become a burden. I couldn't do that. I couldn't go from being the most wonderful person in her life to being a worthless lump of shit that's just a burden to her. I couldn't do that. And so, and mind you, keep in mind this is the second time. This is a do-over. This is not the first time. I'll tell that story later because that gets that's another topic. But this was the fix this time around. I could see it going downhill, and I knew it was going to go bad. And I couldn't do that. I couldn't live that way, and I couldn't be that for her. I couldn't take care of her, and I set her up with Boo because they had had a romantic endeavor in the past, an affair before she and I got together. So that value was there. It was available to make use of. He was my brother. He is my brother. I trust him, and I trusted him to take care of her and do good for her. So this could be the first instance where I had coordinated a synchronicity, where I had engineered a synchronicity. I caused for them to stumble into each other from time to time and to grow closer, and eventually I set it up to where the three of us were together, kind of romantically in that way. And when it happened, I pushed her away. I tried, beforehand to get her to leave me. I tried. I even I made it look like I might have been cheating on her, which I never would. I'm the loyalest person you'll ever meet. If I'm with somebody, I'm with somebody, and there's nothing that's gonna take me away from them unless they tell me they want me to go. But in this case, I had no other choice, and I tried, drinking myself into a stupor daily. I tried being an asshole. I tried being shitty. I tried to push her away, but nothing could push her away. She loved me so much, and I couldn't just kind of break it off. I loved her too much, and I tried to make her leave me. I had it arranged for her to kind of walk in on me and another girl kind of being flirtatious to make it look like I might have, the inclination to cheat on her, but I did everything I could, and it hurt her, and I knew it hurt her when I saw the look on her face when she walked in. Unfucking believable. I'm such a fucking asshole, I can't believe I would have done that shit to her, but um, nothing worked to get her to walk away. So I set it up to where she would run into Boob and be closer to him and have this opening, this avenue for them to get together. And when they did, I pushed her away and I told her, "You got to go with him. You got to stay with him." And she pleaded with me to stay with her, and she didn't want to go, but I clipped it, and I wouldn't let it. And I even I was a dick to her about it, because I was afraid of her seeing me as a burden. I was afraid of becoming that to her, and I was afraid of dying on her. I didn't see any recovery in sight. I thought I was done. I thought my life was over, and this lasted for a long time. But even there, after the night after that happened, I went to see her for the last time in a long time. Last time for a long time, I went to see her, and she walked me out. She was staying with her parents then, and Boo was staying with her in her bedroom and up in the attic. And I went to see her, and we talked for a while, and we messed around a bit. But I'm leaving, and she leans in to kiss me goodnight, and a smile on her face, that glee in her eyes, and I backed off, and I gave her kind of a scowl, and no, we're not gonna do that, and I could feel both of our fucking hearts shatter. I saw that glimmer leave her eye and the smile fade, and she was so sad. I knew she was ready to break down crying, and my heart broke that day, and I can't believe that. It's so just fucking horrible, unbelievable that I would do that. It's like a fucking monster there, but that was rough. That was real rough, and and I was in a black hole for a while after that, but I recovered eventually and I became who I am, and that's a part of the origin story that makes me who I am, and that was a fix. That was the better option. I had to do that. I couldn't, there was no other choice there, but she overcame it as well, and she had Boob's help, and he helped her and supported her, and everything worked out with them. They got married eventually. They have a kid, and she became a master of personal alchemy and became even a better spotter in regards to emotional values and personal alchemy than I could ever have been. And now she's my advisor. I trained her, and now she helps keep me on track. For all intents and purposes, she ought to be the operator here, but she's too busy with the kid and work and whatnot. So we'll cut her some slack in that regard. Although, Cheeks, if you watch this, I would appreciate it if you got on the ball for at least a fucking second in a week, dude. Pay attention. Sorry. I love you, Cheeks. And I still love her more than anything else in the world to this day. She's my favorite person ever. I love her so deeply. I'm still in love with her, and I always will be. And she and I eventually, we didn't talk or see each other for a long while after that, but eventually we came back together and we got things rolling. And of course, the three of us founded the initiative, and we built all of this and we started everything. We've been working on it for years and years and years, even before she and I met. We've been working on this, Boob and I, and we acquired her. She was our third person. There are various synchronicities and like prophetic dreams that led up to that and shit. But honestly, I don't know. I don't think that I'll ever find somebody like that again. I don't know if I'll ever experience that again. I've come close, but it's always nothing quite gets it, and kind of gave up on it. Actually, I have this romantic. I'm a diehard romantic. I'm a diehard fucking bleeding heart, hopeless romantic. But I'm not sure that I'll ever experience something like that again. The love that we had was true and amazing, and I fucking ruined it as usual. But she and I are still best friends, and that I love her dearly, and she loves me, and we're still very close. Which, to speak to Demi, if you watch this, if you're watching this, I'm really sorry that you had to go through what you did. And I feel you on that level. I understand what it feels like to have to go through something like that. Although our relationship recovered, and I'm sorry that yours didn't. And I have no idea how hard that must be for you to go on like that with that in mind and have that. But I'd advise you to make use of personal alchemy. Obviously, you're a master at transformation, so transform that pain into power. Make use of it because you are an excellent person. I love what you're doing. I love your channel. I love your videos. Um, you're a magnificent person. I really hope that this collaboration works out and that we can get something going and work together and be friends because you're just an amazing person, and I strongly urge you to keep that excellence up. Everybody else, keep that fucking excellence up. Uh, Thank you for this time. 17 minutes. Hilo Salai, Terry UNACR, Namaste.